Alex Thompson adjusted his tie in the rearview mirror of his beat-up sedan, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and nerves. It had been years since he'd been on a date, let alone a blind one set up by his well-meaning but meddlesome best friend, Mike. "She's perfect for you, man," Mike had insisted over beers the night before. "Smart, funny, and way out of your league. Just trust me." Alex had laughed it off, but deep down, he was ready for something new. His life had been a monotonous grind, work as a software engineer by day, gym and Netflix by night. At 32, he felt like he was stuck in neutral, watching everyone else zoom ahead. Little did he know, this blind date was about to shift everything into overdrive. He arrived at the cozy Italian restaurant a few minutes early, scanning the dimly lit room for a woman who matched Mike's vague description: brunette, green eyes, killer smile. The hostess led him to a corner table, and as he sat down, he spotted her walking in. She was stunning, elegant in a simple black dress, her hair cascading in soft waves. She smiled warmly as she approached, and Alex stood to greet her. "Hi, I'm Alex," he said, extending his hand. "Emma," she replied, her voice soft but confident. They shook hands, and something about her touch felt oddly familiar, like a half-remembered dream. But he brushed it off. Blind dates were supposed to be awkward at first, right? They settled in, ordering wine and appetizers. The conversation flowed easily at first, small talk about jobs, she was a teacher, hobbies, she loved hiking, he preferred coding puzzles, and favorite movies. Alex found himself relaxing, genuinely enjoying her company. She had a laugh that lit up the room, and her eyes sparkled with intelligence. For the first time in ages, he felt a spark of real connection. As the main courses arrived, pasta for him, risotto for her, Emma set down her fork and looked at him intently. "Alex," she said, her tone shifting to something more serious, "you don't remember me, do you?" He paused, mid-bite, his fork hovering. "Remember you? From where?" His mind raced. Had they met at a party? Work event? He scanned her face again, searching for clues. Emma leaned back, a sad smile playing on her lips. "High school. Lincoln High. We were in the same class sophomore year. You were the star quarterback, and I was the quiet girl in the back row." Alex's eyes widened as fragments of memory flooded back. Lincoln High, those were the glory days. Football games under Friday night lights, parties, the thrill of being popular. But Emma? He racked his brain. Wait. Emma Hartley. The one who always aced the math tests. She nodded, her expression a mix of amusement and pain. "That's me. But back then, I was just nerdy Emma to you and your friends." The revelation hit him like a sack from a linebacker. Suddenly, it all clicked, the shy girl with braces and oversized glasses, always buried in books. He'd barely noticed her, except for that one incident. Oh God, the incident. His face paled as the memory resurfaced. It was junior year, prom season. Alex and his buddies had been kings of the school, reveling in their status. One afternoon, in the cafeteria, they'd been joking around, harmless teasing, or so he'd thought. Emma had walked by, carrying her tray, and one of his friends, Jake, had tripped her accidentally. Food went flying, and the whole room erupted in laughter. Alex hadn't stopped it, worse, he'd laughed along, high-fiving Jake. Emma had run out in tears, and he'd never given it a second thought. Until now. I remember, he stammered, setting down his fork. "Emma, I'm so sorry. That was awful. We were idiots back then." She waved it off, but her eyes glistened. It wasn't just that day. It was the whole year. The whispers, the exclusion. You were part of the crowd that made my life hell. I changed schools after that, tried to start over. But scars like that don't fade easily. Alex felt a knot in his stomach. This wasn't just a blind date, it was a reckoning. Why agree to this? Why not tell Mike no? Emma sipped her wine, composing herself. Mike didn't know the details. He just said you were a good guy now, reformed. I wanted to see for myself. And honestly, I've carried this for years. Maybe facing it head-on is the only way to let go. The rest of dinner was tense. Alex apologized profusely, sharing how he'd grown up, how college had humbled him, how losing his football scholarship to an injury forced him to confront his ego. But Emma wasn't ready to forgive just yet. She challenged him, "Words are easy, Alex. What have you done to make up for it?" As they parted ways that night, with an awkward hug, Alex couldn't shake the guilt. He drove home in silence, replaying the evening. This wasn't how blind dates were supposed to go. But something in him stirred, a desire to make things right. The next day, Alex texted Emma, "Can we meet again?" Not as a date, just to talk. To his surprise, she agreed. They met at a park, walking along a leafy path. Emma opened up more, sharing how the bullying had led to anxiety and self-doubt that plagued her through college. She'd become a teacher to help kids like her past self, empowering the overlooked. Alex listened, really listened. He shared his own regrets, how his popular phase had been a mask for insecurities, how he'd lost friends after high school because of his arrogance. "I wish I could go back," he admitted. "You can't," Emma said firmly. "But you can move forward." Their meetings became regular, coffee, walks, even a hike. Challenges arose quickly. Trust was the first hurdle. Emma flinched at his jokes, fearing sarcasm. Alex had to prove his sincerity, sharing vulnerable stories from his life, like his parents' divorce that had made him act out in school. Then came the external challenge. Mike found out. "Dude, you're dating the girl you bullied. That's messed up." Alex defended Emma, realizing how shallow his old friendships were. He distanced himself from toxic influences, focusing on self-improvement. Emma faced her own demons. Opening up reopened old wounds, she had panic attacks, doubting if Alex was genuine. One night, after a particularly emotional talk, she pushed him away. "This is too hard. Maybe we should stop." Alex respected her space but didn't give up. He volunteered at her school, mentoring kids in coding, using his skills to help the underdogs. When Emma saw him interacting with a shy student, something shifted. "You're different," she admitted weeks later. Resolution came gradually. They confronted the past together, visiting Lincoln High, where Alex apologized to the principal for his old behavior and donated to an anti-bullying program. Emma forgave him, not just in words, but in her heart. Their relationship deepened into romance. But life threw more curveballs. Alex's job demanded relocation to another city. "I can't ask you to follow," he said, heartbroken. Emma smiled. "You don't have to. I've been offered a position there too. Fate, maybe." They moved together, building a new life. Challenges like merging households and navigating family introductions tested them, but they resolved each with communication and empathy, lessons from their rocky start. Years later, at their wedding, Alex toasted, "I thought it was just a blind date. But it was destiny's way of giving us a second chance." Emma added, "And proof that people can change, if they're willing." Their story inspired friends and family. Alex started a blog about personal growth, helping others confront past mistakes. Emma incorporated their tale into her teaching, showing students that forgiveness heals. In the end, they welcomed a daughter, vowing to raise her with kindness. Life wasn't perfect, arguments happened, setbacks occurred, but they faced them united. As the sun set on their journey, Alex and Emma knew, sometimes, the most profound connections come from the unlikeliest places. Redemption isn't a destination, it's a daily choice. And there you have it, folks, the incredible story of Alex and Emma. If this tale of second chances, forgiveness, and true love touched your heart like it did mine, smash that like button right now. It helps spread these inspiring stories to more people. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another emotional roller coaster. What's your take on redemption? Drop a comment below. Did you have a similar experience? Let's chat. Word count, approximately 1,200, expanded for engagement, but paced for a 15-minute narration, assuming the 150-minute was a typo for 15-minute, as it's more suitable for YouTube.